The Green Lanterns have been tasked with protecting the 3,600 sectors of space. Using nothing but willpower and light, they have faced threats beyond imagination, in brightest day and blackest night. But they have never faced anything like this. Hal Jordan laments that the Justice League had to break the Source Wall in order to defeat the Dark Multiverse. But Guy Gardner remains unimpressed. No matter how they put it, Hal and his friends broke the universe. The old rulebook just went out the window. On Earth, Brainiac attacks in full force. The Suicide Squad, Titans, Teen Titans, and Justice League move in to intercept. But Brainiac is proving a formidable threat. Amanda Waller knows she must activate Task Force 11 in response. Meanwhile, Brainiac shows Superman a vision of him destroying the superpowered champions of this world and conquering the planet. But he did not come for Superman's world today. He came for the Justice League. Not as it is, but as it can be. Heroes and villains wake up on Brainiac's ship, with strange nodes applied to their various gear. Brainiac greets them and explains, while willingly submitting himself to Wonder Woman's lasso of truth, but he brought them all together to ask for help. He tells a story, one familiar with the Martian Manhunter as an old legend, but one which Brainiac insists is all too true. The oldest beings in the universe share in this myth, as it is older than civilization or even language. It's a story of 4 brothers, impossibly powerful cosmic gods, each embodying one of 4 fundamental energies in sentient life. They were called the Omega Titans, and they embodied entropy, wisdom, wonder, and mystery. Each believed their core energy to be the dominant power of intelligent life. To prove themselves right, they planted seeds of cosmic energy throughout the universe, and when this universe would end, and determine which of the 4 energies reigned supreme. On each planet they would determine which of the 4 energies became dominant, and the winning Titan would get to consume that world. One by one they would eat each of these worlds, consuming the dying universe. A garden to be eaten by its overseers. The Omega Titans have appeared and are starting to consume world after world. The Source Wall being destroyed has set this into motion. Brainiac has divided the heroes and villains into teams based on the energies they embody. If they can work together and restore balance to the universe, they just might be able to save it. Though tensions between the heroes and villains remain high, and a battle nearly breaks out, Brainiac silences them when he announces their arrival at Colu. This is the home of the smartest race of sentient life in the universe. Brainiac's people have come to embody wisdom over all other energies. This is their only chance to save this planet, and if they don't, they will not only doom Colu, but Earth as well. Brainiac has ensured that Earth will be the next target after this one, so like it or not, these heroes and villains will have to help him. As he begins giving orders, Brainiac suddenly detects a presence in his mind. Back on Earth, Amanda has gathered Task Force 11, a team of telepaths who she orders to invade Brainiac's mind. No more will Earth be ignorant of these larger events involving the Dark Multiverse and the Source Wall. But as Brainiac attempts to resist this psychic onslaught, his brain explodes. As the gathered Earthlings look on at the Omega Titan, one thing is perfectly clear. They're so screwed. On the planet Colu, the heroes and villains are at a loss of what to do. The Omega Titan is set to destroy this planet, and Brainiac is gone. They each feel the pull of the technology Brainiac installed in their suits, and sense that it's guiding them to a source of power located on each planet. Trees Omega Titans have grown in order to determine which of the 4 sentient energies are most dominant on this world. The Martian Manhunter and Lex Luthor successfully convinced the heroes and villains to divide up in the teams Brainiac has assigned to them, in spite of the concerns of many of the heroes. After all, Lex and John are quick to point out that Brainiac is a very intelligent being, and likely understood the situation in a way that the others simply do not. So each team sets out to find their corresponding world tree. Team Entropy discovers a tree growing out of a Colu prison, feeding on the chaos that each of these criminals represent. The Tree of Wonder is growing out of the last remnants of magic on Colu. Since this world rejected magic thousands of years ago, it must be the last source of wonder and faith in this planet. Team Mystery discovers something referred to as a nursery, and inside they discover thousands of bottled worlds, much like how Brainiac used to bottle cities. Finally, Team Wisdom discovers their tree is growing out of the planet's data core. Since this is the dominant form of energy on the planet, the team reasons if they can find a way to depower the data core, they could balance out the four energies for the teams. However, each team soon finds opposition, mostly in the form of Clue defenses, while Team Wonder encounters ghosts of dead Clue and spellcasters. As each of the teams engage in battle, back on Earth, Amanda Waller is encountered by Oliver Queen. He explains that the heroes from the four main teams that protect Earth have all suddenly lost consciousness, and Amanda Waller reasons it must have been some sort of failsafe Brainiac installed in case anything happened to him. She and Oliver seek out a seed that was left behind on Earth by the Omega Titans. If they can prevent its activation, they can prevent the Titans from coming here. However, when her and Ollie discover the seed has already been activated, Amanda Waller realizes this was another failsafe Brainiac had installed. When she attacked him, she may very well have doomed their own planet. All they can do now is hope and wait. On the planet Colu, Team Entropy encounters Brainiac's son, Brainiac 2. The alien explains that his father was using the heroes, and planned to absorb the energies of sentient life for himself on Colu, using it to turn the Omega Titans towards Earth while he was able to finally conquer his home world. Without Brainiac, the heroes are sure to fail at saving Colu. Indeed, in spite of their best efforts, the Omega Titan begins to overwhelm this world. Team Wonder is able to successfully reactivate their tree, dispelling the spirits attacking them, while Team Mystery successfully manages to take all the bottled planets that Colu has taken, including Starfire's homeworld, and with Sinestro's help, they are able to guide the lost planets back into space. Team Wisdom is able to access Colu's planetary data core through Cyborg, though the information quickly overwhelms him. However, it's still not enough. Though the heroes are able to escape on a handful of ships, along with many Coluan survivors, this planet is gone. Back on Earth, 4 great trees grow across the planet. The Omega Titans are here. On Earth, the 4 Omega Titans loom over the planet, intent on consuming it. With little recourse and little other hope, Amanda Waller prepares one last, desperate attempt to defeat the Omega Titans. She prepares a thermonuclear arsenal to be used against the 4 cosmic trees, pointing out that if Oliver Queen hadn't stopped her, she would have just used the nuke on the much smaller seed. In spite of the devastating cost, however, she has no choice. Until, that is, the Justice League reappears. Together with some Green Lanterns who arrived when Oliver Queen called out for their help, the heroes set out across the world in the 4 Brainiac teams in an attempt to destroy devices left behind by Brainiac to speed up the destruction of Earth. Even doing so is not enough to stop the Omega Titans, who deem that entropy is the strongest force currently on Earth. In response, the heroes devise one last plan to save this planet. The Flash quickly takes the seed originally used on Colu and brings it to 4 leaders from each of the 4 teams. Wonder Woman empowers the seed with wonder. Lex Luthor empowers the seed with entropy. The Martian Manhunter empowers it with mystery. And Cyborg gives it wisdom. With their energies combined, this seed now has enough power to get the Omega Titan's attention. And so, Hal Jordan and Oliver Queen team up to launch an arrow at the Entropy Titan. Though it seems the Omega Titans are conscious of what is happening, the energy from the arrow forces the other Titans to consume their brother. As they do so, its phenomenal power easily sates the other Omega Titans, and they once again enter a deep slumber. But as they drift away for another millennia, on some level they seem to understand that they are leaving behind their old order in favor of a new justice. In the aftermath of all of this, many are left shaken by these events. Earth is bound to entropy, so Lex Luthor and Martian Manhunter are worried about what this means for humanity's future. This is only the beginning. The Green Lanterns still struggle with the rapidly deteriorating Source Wall. Batman decides to look outside for help in protecting Earth in the future. The Martian Manhunter is named the new chairman of the Justice League, while he quietly gives Oliver Queen the means to stop these heroes should they ever get out of control. While Wonder Woman and Zatanna look over the 4 energy trees that now remain intact on Earth. They should have dissipated when the Omega Titans are gone, but something is keeping them around. So for the heroes of Earth, it's time they get started. Hello and welcome to Comic Island. My name is Arden, and this is my review of No Justice. So here we have a big story in the world of DC Rebirth, a sort of bridge between the crossover event DC Metal and Scott Snyder taking over the Justice League series, restarting the numbering and bringing his own take on the superhero team. I enjoyed DC Metal on the whole, and No Justice is pretty much right up there along with it. It's a fun story that helps to bring in a bunch of new content. It has a lot of great ideas behind it, especially in terms of how the various heroes across the DC universe are divided among teams. And overall, it's a great piece written by 3 different writers. It's hard to even notice that in the writing as a whole sometimes, but it is there and it is impressive. You can see elements of Snyder's big ideas and lofty world building. James Tynion IV seems to do a lot of the good dialogue between heroes that exists throughout this story. And Josh Williamson has his own little take and I think brings a lot of the twists on the more Earth side of events in this series. It's a very short run and I think that's one of its issues, but that's mostly because all the cool concepts being introduced here are supposed to be introduced and they're going to be built upon throughout various series in DC over the next year or so, probably even farther from that. Each of the teams are going to basically be adapted into certain series in some form or another, and a lot of the cool ideas presented in No Justice are going to be followed up on across many series, I don't doubt for a second. No Justice introduces us to a whole new sector of planets out there for us to explore. It presents a bunch of creative ideas and new opportunities for plot lines through the Coluan archives and Brainiac's intelligence that have both been exposed to outside influence now, the formation of a Wonder-based team to deal with magical threats, and Lex Luthor taking a bit of a turn and ultimately getting a real focus on protecting Earth at all costs, while the Martian Manhunter is going to be taking over the Justice League. In that way, this story really sets up that series nicely, because it seems like those 2 characters are going to be the focus of that series, as they are in No Justice. I like the conversations and intelligence these 2 share with one another, and how they work with the other superheroes and villains in this story. The Martian Manhunter is a great character that often gets overlooked, so it's really fun to have him back, and not only that, but the chair of the Justice League, leading them and being the main focus of Justice League as a series going forward. While Lex Luthor has always been interesting, especially in the New 52 era, and he's been making a more heroic turn. Here, he seems to once again be kind of going his own path, not quite villainous, and siding with a lot of pretty dangerous and crazy villains, but also focused on protecting Earth, just without the sense of moral obligation that the Justice League shares. So where this all goes from here, I'm quite curious, and we'll definitely be covering it in some form on Comic Island. But for now, this is the bridge of all of that, and it's pretty worth reading. Like I said, it's kind of short, there isn't a lot to it, and the art's a little inconsistent. Francis Manipool does the art in the first issue, and his work is amazing. Really sold me on the whole thing. But then some other artists got involved, and some of the coloring kind of felt a little lackluster as we got into issues 3 and 4. And there's some facial expressions that just had some really awkward penciling to them that kind of threw me off in issue 3. So it's not perfect and it's not totally consistent, but it did leave me excited, and it is an important sort of continuity relevant story. Not necessarily the best thing in the world in terms of quality, but an important story in terms of the direction DC is going forward. And in that regard, it is fun to see for yourself. I think at the end of the day, I would recommend it. So let me know what you think in the comment section below. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and keep reading comics.